Exactly 1 year ago today, we set out on a quest to build a video game collection starting with just a $10 bill. Well, I can honestly say I didn't expect this to happen. From buying people's complete collections, epic trades, and sketchy deals, the collection grew quick. From dozens of consoles and hundreds of games, this is the $10 game collection. What is up, Internet? Retro here, and I am joined with my buddy, Tommy.
Hi.
Last name undisclosed, because people are psycho, and I'm not going to give your last name. Guys, 1 freaking year of the $10 game collection. That's pretty wild. I don't know if I'm more surprised by the amount of games we've accumulated, or that it's been an entire year. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's been a whole year, and COVID.
In COVID. All of this during COVID, by the way. I've always thought about that too.
Yeah.
But guys, this is going to be a fun episode. Very different, obviously, than a regular $10 game collection video. But it's been a year. We thought it would be good to sit down, talk through what we have found, talk through some of the notable stories in the series, and the #1 thing people have asked is, what is the overall grand total and value of the $10 game collection? Which is pretty wild, I will tell you. It is more than I thought. So we're going to go through that. While we go through that, though, also, Tommy is going to be asking some questions that you guys have sent in via social media, through Instagram, through YouTube. I basically asked, what are some questions that you have pertaining to the $10 game collection? So this is going to be a really fun episode. Again, this is Tommy. You haven't seen him in a while. He was in some videos at the very beginning of the channel because Tommy helped me start the channel. You taught me how to edit. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. It felt like yesterday.
The Mighty Ducks episode, man. Oh, it's so cringe. It's like ultra cringe. Remember you made fun of me?
That's okay, though. We got new Mighty Ducks coming now.
I kept going like this in the video. I'm like,
here's a rapper.
All right, listen, guys. What's up? He's like, why are you doing that?
Chill out, Vanilla Ice.
Oh, yeah, Mighty Duck. Guys, Mighty Ducks, the new series on Disney+.
Yeah.
Just got released. The trailer did. So
that's a thing.
Anyway, so Tommy is hanging out today as we go through this episode. Also, before we jump in, we also have a giveaway. So right here is an N64 with a good controller. Tommy, check out the controller. Tell me if it's good.
Right,
if you think it's good. Tight stick.
Push the stick.
Pretty good. Hookups and everything. So I wanted to give back. We've given away a PlayStation 2. We've given away some Super Nintendo games, but I wanted to amp it up and give away a Super Mario 64 and N64 bundle. So the way that you can win this, really easy. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, like the video, and then comment down below. I want to know from you guys, what was either your favorite episode of the $10 game collection series, or maybe your favorite find within the series, and you're in. That's all you have to do to be entered. I'm gonna come back like in two to 3 weeks, come back to this video and see. I'm gonna pick from random one of those comments, and that person will win. But make sure, again, that you guys like the video, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to validate that the winner actually did that, so they can be eligible to win. And if not, I'll move to the next person. But I'm excited to give this away. One of my favorite games of all time, Super Mario 64.
I didn't even see it from the backside, but
game changer, man.
Dude,
moving from 2D platforming to the 3D open world. So, all right, let's get into this. So, Tommy, you have a couple questions right off the bat before we get into like goals and how much the collection is worth.
Yeah, so the #1 question everybody was asking, other than, like how much money was in the pot, it was essentially, why did you do this? Like, that was a question that several viewers asked.
Yes. The main reason why I started it was because this was over a year ago, whenever, this didn't exist yet. I would always say in my videos, yeah, I went to a flea market, I got these games. This is kind of how I got my game collection. I got it for free by buying bundles of games, keeping what I needed, and then selling the rest. I can't tell you how many people would say, you're a liar.
Sus.
There's no way you did that. There's no way, bro. This dude's a liar. And I'm like, well, crap. let's do it, man.
I'll show him, yeah.
Let's do it. So that's what's cool about this entire collection. It's all documented. Every single game and item we have seen on screen. We have seen the transaction happen. That it's been free. Well, obviously we spent $10, but I wanted people to see that it is possible.
But you did also find $10 inside of a case, so,
technically that is something else we can talk about here in a little bit. That's another talking point. But yeah, that's the main reason why.
Yeah,
main reason why I did
it. So then, a lot of you want to know, like, for you specifically, what was the thing that you asked them what they enjoyed, but what did you enjoy about this series?
I think the biggest thing I enjoyed so far, because the series is not over yet. I feel like we keep saying it like it's done. I think my favorite thing was helping educate other people on how to do this. Yeah. Like, I've had countless people tell me, like, they'll email me, they'll message me on Instagram or Facebook, and it's like, hey man, I just want to show you my collection. I've got all of this collection the past 6 months for free. Literally, I have a family, I have other responsibilities, and I never thought I'd have a game collection, but because I watched your videos, it's helped me build my own game collection. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the biggest reward, more than being able to be like, haha, see, I can do it, is to actually be able to help people. I mean, there was a guy that reached out to me and said, because of this, he started reselling. He just quit his job like in the summer. He's made like 40 grand in a couple months by reselling, and he would never have done that had he not found the channel. So that means more to me than anything, probably.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Go full time with your info. You asked for a cut of that? So give me some money, dog.
I didn't. All right, let's get into it. So, original goals for the series was 3 consoles and 200 games. Which 200 games, that's quite a few games, man.
That's a lot. That's like my Steam library.
I think I wanted an NES, Super Nintendo, and N64 for sure. And then anything in addition would be cool. So, we wanted 3 consoles, 200 games. Right now, currently, we have 24 consoles and 588 games.
Gosh, it's so good.
588. It's like like startling. Like when you look at it, you're like
because you started with one shelf, and then you had to like buy another shelf.
Well, it wasn't even one shelf. It was 2 sections, and I didn't know. I didn't even know. I was like, I don't know. Maybe this will be good. And then as it grew, it was just like, man, this is not going to work. So, yeah, 588 games, 24 consoles. We spent $10, obviously. But here's the thing. So I'm going to start adding up some of the things. I'm going to give you like an overall value, obviously. So here's something to consider. Right now in the game fund, we have $356.94. That's in the game fund that we have made from other games we didn't need to be able to buy more games. So we're already, in the green, $346.94.
Yep. That's a lot.
So that's the first thing. Before we get into like systems and consoles, or systems and games, the accessories. People sleep on accessories, man. There is money to be made on accessories.
I mean, just look at the price of like USB cables and HDMI cables at Best Buy. They're like $3 million when they're like really like $2.
That and like not even. I mean, I think about. I found that Wavebird.
Yeah.
I found the Wavebird with the receiver. That's like $60-$70 right now.
Wavebirds are probably one of the best wireless controllers made.
Yeah.
Period.
Dude, I had a friend in high school that he had a GameCube with 4 Wavebirds. Like just.
That's like Smash Brothers.
You're rich, bro. It's like I did not have that. So accessories. In accessories, we have $565 right now. That's just across, N64 controllers, Super Nintendo controllers, Xbox controllers, GameCube, all of it. There's roughly $565 in value. And then jumping into the systems. So we have 24 systems, 6 handhelds, and 18 consoles. So within the handhelds, we have 6, a bunch of Game Boy colors. We have 2 Kiwi ones. So we have only one variant that's doubled, but everything else is separate. So there's a Game Boy Pocket.
Yeah. I had the teal growing up. Which one did you get?
I never had a Game Boy Color either. I had a clear Game Boy Pocket. That's what I had.
That's pretty sweet.
So the most unique handheld that I think was the Game Boy, or the GBA SP. That's a GBA SP model 101. All of those have the brighter screen. That one does not. it was like it stumped so many of us, and we actually ended up finding out. I had a lot of you guys from overseas help me with that it's actually a variant overseas. It didn't have a backlit screen. The 101s always did, I thought, but apparently that one was, I think that one's from Cambodia.
That was like the advantage, really, like the biggest advantage in my opinion.
Oh,
was
heck yeah. I cannot play on one that doesn't have a
Game Boy
backlit
snobs.
screen. Yes.
Gotta have a backlit screen or we're not playing it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the handhelds. Do you have a question for me, I think, on this one?
Yeah, well, so with all this, like, what were you expecting to find, like, just a ton of that you didn't? I figured it'd probably be like Tetris. That's what I would have expected.
Oh, like an actual game?
Or with consoles themselves? I don't know. Like, just handheld stuff in general.
I thought I would for sure find more DS stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, DS stuff is, like, right in the sweet spot of getting donated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you think about Wii and you think about DS, you're talking 15 years old now, which is crazy. Those kids are out to college. Those kids are gone, and that stuff gets donated. I just found my first DS games 2 weeks ago. I found 6. And, like, I thought I would find a ton of DS stuff and just never did.
Okay. Yep. Well, as far as that's concerned, what about the, like, the most exciting thing so far? Because you're not done yet. But so far during the series, the most exciting thing that you've found?
Probably the Saturn. Found a Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
Primarily because those are like non-existent where I live.
Right.
I mean, how often do you see Sega Saturns?
Not often, dude. It's like the Nomad. You never see it anywhere.
Yeah, never see the Nomad. I didn't have a Saturn in my collection. Like in all my stuff, I didn't have a Saturn. So that was really cool. That was really cool to pick up. So, but speaking of that, so we have 6 handhelds and we have 18 consoles. We have everything from the NES. We actually have 2 NESs. I need to sell one. We have two Nintendos, a Super Nintendo, N64, a couple different Wiis, like different Wiis. There's a black one. There's a white one. We have we don't have a Wii U, but we do have a PlayStation 2. Actually, surprisingly, we don't have a PS3 in the collection. I just haven't found one working because I didn't want, you see them for $80-$90, but I didn't want to pay that. I wanted to pay $20 for it or something.
Yeah.
I get a good deal on it.
And those are clean consoles, man.
Yeah, they're all in really good, like they're all like collection worthy.
Yeah, sometimes you find those Super Nintendos and they're just like yellow and gross.
Mm-hmm. So Saturn probably is the most unique and most expensive, but the SNES Mini, we also found a SNES Mini. That's actually almost the same price. There's like $120 for a SNES Mini right now. I know.
That's dope.
So grand total in consoles, $1,449. So almost $1,500 just in consoles.
That's awesome.
I know. I did not. That's probably another thing I didn't expect. I didn't expect to find so many different consoles because really the only one we have that's the same is one NES and one Kiwi Game Boy Color, and everything else is like literally a different console or different handheld.
Did you expect to find like a lot of the same one?
I expected to find a lot of Wiis just because Wiis are like
a dime a dozen.
They're a dime a dozen. Like but COVID happened. Like if garage sales would have happened this year, I would have found a ton more Wiis because Wiis just get donated like crazy.
With another, I don't know if this was even on here.
Oh yeah.
And if it is, we can just cut this part out. But with everything that happened this last year, did that you think have an impact on the prices of some of this stuff? Like people maybe at home more looking for some retro gaming because they're at home more?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few videos that talk about this. Prices definitely spiked during the beginning of the pandemic. Like May to June, prices went crazy, dude. Double, triple the price on some of this stuff, which again makes me want to reiterate how possible it is. Yep. Because like literally in the middle of a pandemic, we collected these games, so that meaning there wasn't as easy access to them, and prices were more expensive and they were spiked. So prices were, dude, like at one point the 1,000 Year Door Paper Mario on the GameCube, like $150. That's how much that game was going for, because everybody was home. Everybody was like stuck inside, and they were like, I guess I want to play my old GameCube. You know what I mean?
Let's get some Paper Mario going.
Yeah, that's awesome. $1,449. I'm putting like a running total somewhere on the screen for all of our stuff. So let's get into the games. Again, goal 200 games.
Yep.
588 games. in the game collection.
We're gonna go through them all one by one.
Yeah, we're gonna go through every single game where I found it. How much? I'm just kidding.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Tommy was your favorite, right? Or were you a loser?
Yeah, we're gonna go through every single game. I'm just kidding. We're just gonna go through some notable, but we'll go through each console. So the NES, we have 71 NES games in the collection. Total value of just NES games is $774, with the most valuable one being Trog, complete in box up at the top. That's worth like $50. I actually like Trog. You don't like it?
Well, every time I hear Trog, it just makes me think of like Trogdor, like from Homestar
Oh
Runner.
yeah. Homestar Runner. Insert clip now.
Teen Girl Squad! Cheerleader! So-and-so! What's your face? The ugly one!
So yeah, 71 games, 774.
This, a few minutes ago, we are talking about how this is not over yet.
Mm-hmm.
So another question people had was, well, when will it end? When will this be over? Or will it ever be over? And if it is going to keep going, what are you going to change? What are you going to do?
I think it is definitely going to end at some point. I do want to do like a season 2 and like have some kind of different, like maybe focus. But this one will end at some point. The idea is for this to stop in October. So I can basically, what I'll do is I'll keep the games I don't have in my collection, and I'll bring the rest to Retropalooza in Arlington, and I will probably sell most of them there or trade, because there's a lot in here that I just don't really need, and I don't really collect for the Wii. Do I need all those Wii games? Probably not, but that's the idea. I think next year, if I do it all over again, which makes me want to almost vomit to think like, oh my gosh, can you imagine trying to start this all over again? Dude, those first couple weeks were so hard. I mean, we had no money at all, and it was like trying to make something out of nothing, right?
It's like a snowball. It just gets easier the longer you do it.
Yeah. What I would want to do, I feel like would be cool to like maybe have a very focused goal, like maybe. Okay. This year, we're going to try to complete an N64 set. So that doesn't mean I'm not going to buy Wii stuff. I'm not going to buy PlayStation stuff. It's just I'm going to buy it to flip it or to trade it for N64 stuff. I don't know. At a certain point, it did get a little like ambiguous. It's like, what's really the goal? Are you just trying to get a bajillion games? Well, I don't know, guys.
For some people, that's the goal.
I mean, some people like to collect video games. Yeah. I tend to be more of a collector. So, yeah, that was kind of the goal. Or that's kind of what happened from the beginning, but I'd like to probably sell the rest of it.
Well, so then do you ever play any of these games, or do you just basically collect them then?
I love playing video games, but if anybody is out there that's a YouTuber knows, dude, you can't have it all. You can't play video games and collect video games and sell video games and make videos about video games. Something has to give, and right now I'm in a season where I'm really enjoying making content. It takes me, I've told you guys 1,000 times, it takes me about 12 to 14 hours to make Monday's video, and I come out with 2 videos a week. And that's just editing the video. There's like going out and filming, getting my thoughts together. It's a ton, and I have a family. I work about 50 to 60 hours a week in my regular job. So I usually play games whenever I have people over. That's kind of like, like my favorite thing is when people walk into the game room and they're like just hit with nostalgia first, and then I'm like, well, what game did you used to play like a ton back in the day? Oh, dude, I remember playing Power Rangers on Super Nintendo, and I'm like, this one? And they're like, yes, oh my gosh, that game, I haven't played that game in 20 years. And then we pop it in and we play it for a good bit. But that's kind of my
we still need to get back there, and we need to beat Battletoads still.
Oh gosh, me and Tommy stayed up one night. It was literally like 3 o'clock in the morning trying to beat Battletoads with the freaking code, with the Game Genie code.
I don't remember the Game Genie being in there, but I just remember it was.
Is either that or is it unlimited continues? It might have been unlimited continues. I don't remember.
I don't know.
But yeah, so
That's
hard.
Rough.
So that was the NES. We gotta go. We could talk. Me and Tommy could talk for a while. Yeah. Super Nintendo. So Super Nintendo, we have 15 games. valued at $168. Most valuable is Mario All-Stars. It's like $21, $25. And then my most memorable Super Nintendo game is probably Rival Turf. It's a game people don't talk about. It's a beat 'em up. It's not amazing, but we got that for like $2 or $3 at the game store. They underpriced it. It's worth like $15. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh. Like, you don't catch game stores do that anymore. I mean, everybody prices their stuff accordingly. But I would say the Super Nintendo also, I was a little surprised that we only found 15 games. Like, that's not very many for an entire year.
I mean, there's some good ones, like Donkey Kong Country 2 is like especially...
There's most of, like, the notable ones. You got Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, Mario World, Pilot Wings, F-Zero. Tommy was actually the one that helped me with that. That Super Nintendo and the games he saw at Goodwill, and you called me, you're like, hey, there's Super Nintendo stuff right here at Goodwill. And I was like, really? There's never good. There's like, never some
decent stuff too. So I was like, and it's clean. So get over here.
It was really clean. Yeah. It was
like, but then you also got the tragedies like Beethoven.
I do have Beethoven. I got that for like $3 at Game Exchange. I don't know why.
Beethoven. I don't know.
So
it is what it is.
Yep, $168 in value on the Super Nintendo. So let's jump to the N64. 33 games in the N64 collection, valued at $649. Most valuable is Majora's Mask at $55. And I'm proud of this collection. Like, the N64 collection is probably the most diverse, and it has like the staple games that you need in a collection. Like, if I wanted to start a collection, which obviously we did, but like if I was like, I want to start a collection and I want an N64 collection, and I don't want to spend much money, and I want the good games, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2,
Mario Kart,
Banjo Tooie, Super Smash, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. It's like all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really proud of that. Yeah, about that collection. So.
Well, and those games can get pretty expensive, and especially in the beginning when you have like $10. Was there anything that like you couldn't afford to buy because you didn't have the money in the game collection right then, or even if it wasn't in the beginning, like later on, did you find some crazy thing that was just like, we don't have enough money to buy it? That sucks.
Oh, like we came into like a situation where it's like, this would be amazing to add,
but we don't have.
But there's not, the funds aren't there. Yes. So the first week I started, I went to a flea market. I actually have a video in between the first and second video of the series where I found a huge Sega Master System collection at a flea market for $50, and we didn't have any money in the game fund. We had like $12 or something like that. So it destroyed me, and then I almost cheated. Like, I almost cheated, and I almost bought it. What I was going to say, like, okay, guys, I'm going to buy these games from myself now, because I found them last week for $50, so now we have $50, so now I'm going to buy them from... And it got weird. I was like, that's stupid.
It wasn't worth dealing with haters.
Yeah, exactly. It was not worth it, and I was like... So that was a bummer. But fortunately, that hadn't happened since then. And people would always say that, too. They're like, dude, no. Why did you sell that game? Because I have $20 in the game collection. I need the money. I need the money. And now we're to the point where I really don't have to do that. We have close to 400. There's still some stuff in there I can sell, but those first months were super hard to like be able to actually do it. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, N64 collection is pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking at the games and I just want to play them right now.
Yeah, maybe me and Tommy will actually get to play some games after this, after we record. All right, jumping to the GameCube. 22 games valued at $668. Most valuable is another Zelda game.
Oh yeah, of course.
Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess right now is selling for $94.
What about offhand? Do you know what it sells for the Wii U?
Probably like 30 or 40, I bet.
Okay, so GameCube's where it's at.
GameCube, yeah, it's super expensive.
For me, Smash Brothers Melee, dude.
You're good.
That's the best Smash game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In my opinion, I don't care. It's
well,
better than 64.
I feel like people will argue with Ultimate now.
That's fine. They can do what they want. That's the one that I enjoy, and it's subjective. So
yeah, Melee's great. So GameCube. The thing I like about the GameCube collection is almost all of these games are from a trade. So I don't know if you saw that episode or not, but basically we traded a Switch for a GameCube collection, and I tend to be fairly creative when it comes to trying to find games and source games cheap, or just again creatively. And I have a couple buddies, Phoenix Resale and Chase After the Right Price. I think Hunting with Tripler does it as well, where they started trading modern new consoles for old games, and it's so smart. Because it's like these people are like, you know, yeah, there's more value, but there's no value to them at all. Because it's in a closet, and their kids want to play a Switch. So it's like, well, crap,
And if they take it to GameStop, it's like $5 anyway.
They're not going to give them anything. So that was really cool. That was my first time to ever try that. We put up a Switch Lite for trade that we had almost nothing into.
Was it a yellow one?
It was a yellow one.
It was a really cool looking one.
Yeah, and we traded an entire GameCube collection for it. So
people got to play that new Animal Crossing.
Right. So $668. So yeah.
That's really good.
Is there a question in this one?
Yeah. So another question that you guys wanted to know was, when you started this $10 game collection series, did you envision it being such a big success?
You know, I didn't envision it helping the channel so much. I feel like it has helped a ton, because it's one of those series where you want to go back and watch. So like someone stumbles into like, you know, traded this for a GameCube collection, and you just stumbled into the channel for the first time, and you see like, oh wow, this is where he started from. Man, I got to go back. I got to go back and check that out. I don't think a lot of YouTube channels think through that sometimes, and it's really helpful, especially if you want to try to grow your channel. I didn't envision it being like this. Again, I had a goal. I was trying to be somewhat reasonable with my goal. I didn't think that we're going to triple our goal. Right. But yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with it.
That's great. And it's like, I think a reason that this series, at least for my opinion, has been so good is because you're also, like, I think, providing value to your viewers. You know, they're getting some valuable insight. Like you just said, there's some dude who just decided to quit his job and is now doing this full time. So
I really did want people to realize you can do this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying everybody can, because I have people tell me all the time also, hey man, I live in Croatia and we have one flea market where I live ever. Right. And you know, I get not every single person can do this, but I mean,
a lot of people could.
A lot of people can do this. People from other countries tell me that they're doing this now. So again, not every single person can, but a lot can.
Yeah.
So that's GameCube. Let's look at the Wii. We bundled Wii and Wii U together because we don't have very many Wii U games. 61 Wii games, valued at $726. Most valuable is the one I found last week, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn.
The game is good.
We got that game for $1 at Goodwill, worth $80.
Dude, Fire Emblem's a great series, man.
Oh yeah, I love it. That's what I talked about in the last video. Was I feel like Fire Emblem is known, but it does not get talked about enough. It's like people talk about Zelda all the time. You don't hear a ton of people talking about Fire Emblem.
Unless they play Smash Brothers, then there's like, why are there more Fire Emblem characters?
It's so good. The 61 games for the Wii is quite a few, but that's like, again, I think I said it earlier, Wii is the perfect target for donated games right now. Like 5 years ago, it was the GameCube. It kind of always goes in that rotation of like, the Wii is 15 years old, which again seems crazy to say. I remember when our friend Eric bought a Wii in the dorm, and we were like, what? You use your hand? This is crazy.
I remember I waited in line at a Toys R Us to get a Wii, and not even for me. It was for somebody else that couldn't make it to get in line, so they paid me like $150 to just wait in line for them to get the Wii. So I did. So I just like stood in line.
I wouldn't doubt it, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's 15 years old, meaning if you were a kid and you had it when you were 6, 7 years old, 15 years later, you're out of the house. Yeah, you're out of the house. Mom's selling it. Mom's bringing it to Goodwill to get rid of it. So Wii, as I did expect to find quite a few. But Wii U, we only had 6 games in the Wii U collection. So I think I said Wii was $726. Wii U 6 games, $97. And then what do you know? Most valuable game is another Zelda game. Breath of the Wild is worth $30. So we just didn't really find. We didn't really find too many Wii games.
Okay, so speaking about Nintendo. You know, we know that you're a Nintendo guy, but another question asked was, even though you've primarily been like a Nintendo fan, has this series opened you up to any other types of game systems or anything that you didn't collect before?
Yes, I did not collect for Xbox 360 or Xbox at all. I've never been an Xbox guy. Like I just have always kind of like leaned towards Nintendo and some PlayStation. Xbox never, and I saw Xbox 360. Xbox 360 is the same age. It's like, I think it came out in 2006 as well. So I see Xbox 360 games every single day, and I probably pass up on Gold before the series, and I just never picked them up, and we haven't gotten to it yet. But the Xbox 360 collection is freaking enormous. There's so many Xbox 360 games in this collection, so it has opened me up to collect for them. Again, haven't had a real solid chance to play any yet, but maybe after the series is over, I'll give some of them a shot. But are you an Xbox fan?
I mean, I play some Xbox games. I'm kind of one of those that just played everything, even though, like, primarily I'm a PlayStation type of guy.
Okay. All right, moving to the Switch. 24 games in the Switch collection. That's quite a few Switch games. Valued at $391. So obviously, off that value, you know, there's quite a few filler. Most valuable game in the Switch collection is Sonic Mania Plus, $36. What?
It's just funny. Like, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch, and the most
valuable
game is Sonic. Like,
it's funny. That's funny.
It's pretty good.
I think the most notable thing for the Switch games, I was pretty stoked to actually have a pretty decent size collection. From basically, those were free. So I did, I think, 2 episodes back to back on how I kind of worked the GameStop system.
Yeah.
And I was trading in games that I knew have value. I was getting Wii Sports for $2. I was getting Wii Sports Resort for $2 and trading them in for like 18, building up. If you guys want to see that, I'll link it. I'll link a card as well. And then I would basically build up a game fund of $20 in credit or $200 in credit there, and then I would utilize their buy 2 get 2 free. So at the end of the day, I got my money back and I got this huge Switch collection for free.
And like you're saying, like, if it's something that you're not, like, if you're not collecting modern games, that'd be a really good use to have those for trade, to get other retro games from people that might want Switch games. So.
Trade bait is very important. Yep. So that's the Switch stuff. Moving on to Game Boy. Game Boy games. We have 6 games. We have 6 games for the Game Boy. Most valuable being Pokemon Red at $29. Overall value is $106. $106 for all of our Game Boy stuff. Game Boy Color, there's nothing to really talk about. There's 2 games. There's 2 games in the Game Boy Color collection, most valuable being The Grinch. $8, which is a hilarious movie. That's like a staple Christmas movie.
But that game's still probably worth more than like a used copy of the DVD nowadays. Like,
definitely. Dude, that movie is so good. I love that movie.
How about movie? What
Game Boy Advance, 4 games, $81 in total in value. Pokemon Leaf Green is $52.
That's great.
Pokemon is on fire right now.
Pokemon has been on fire since it came out.
Yes, 100%. But it's like, dude, you can't turn the corner right now of not hearing about.
I'm a grown adult man, and I'm still gonna buy Pokemon Snap here in a minute.
Oh, heck yeah.
For Switch. So.
Heck yeah. I've actually thought about starting to open up Pokemon cards on camera. Would you guys be interested in that? I kind of want to get back into it.
There's a new series of cards and stuff right now. It's like crazy.
Which one is it? Vivid Voltage?
I can't remember what the name of it is.
Vivid Voltage is a big one.
They have all these crazy new stuff. Like, there's like a new, like, one of my buddies, he does stuff, and he opened up one of the Charizards, one of the new ones. It was like, I think it's like a $500 card. He was just like losing it. It was awesome.
Oh, heck yeah. So. I kind of want to. It's literally legalized gambling for young people.
For children.
For children. It's just like, give us $8 for this pack. Maybe you'll get Maybe you get a Charizard.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a Zard. All right. Game Boy Color, 2 games, $11. Game Boy Advance. We said that already. DS. DS has 6 games, $32. Most valuable being Sonic All-Star Racing for $8. Side note, we just found these. Just found the DS games like 2 or 3 episodes ago. Never come across DS games. Also, if I came across DS games and they were loose, I don't think I would have bought them. It's just, they're just, they lose them so easily.
The DS, they also had, like, a lot of manufacturers were making these cards where you could just, like, download a bunch of ROMs illegally and put them on there. So people would, like, buy the DSs and then just, like, have every game for it and put it in there.
I didn't know that. Almost like an EverDrive?
Yeah, but it was just like a little SD. Well, it was a cartridge that you put an SD card in, and they'd like load all the games on it. So then, it was like a very hacked system. People would put bootleg stuff on it. You could play your regular Nintendo games and stuff on it. So it's definitely one of those kind of things where I could actually see you maybe not seeing a lot of them because people could be holding on to them just for that reason alone.
Wow.
But
we don't have a DS in the collection. We never found one. At least yet. So.
Well, another question you guys wanted to know was, are you still looking for any specific games for the collection? Or any specific systems?
Systems, for sure. PS3 and Wii U. We had found one PS3, and it was the one that was looked like it had been, I don't know,
Used as a George Foreman?
it was used as George Foreman, y'all. I could not believe how beat up that thing was. Didn't turn on, and just a piece of junk.
Yeah.
I just haven't found a PS3 yet for a decent price. I'm not gonna. You can find them all day long for $80 or $100 on Marketplace, but I'm not. I want to get it cheap. And then a Wii U. We still haven't found a Wii U yet. Waiting for a Wii U. In terms of games, there's still a couple like Super Nintendo games I feel like we should have found by now. We haven't found Link to the Past. Any other year I find 7 copies of that a year, and I haven't found any in the past year. That's what's been cool too. Is like this has literally been my focus for a year, even for my personal collection. I really haven't bought anything other than for the $10 game collection. So, yeah, I say Link to the Past and probably PS3, Wii U. Awesome. Let's move on to PlayStation stuff. PS1, we have accumulated 27 games, valued at $290. Most valuable game being Twisted Metal. A lot of this surprised me too, as I was coming up with all this together and documenting it all. I thought for sure Spyro or one of the Crash games would have been more valuable. I think they're really close. I think they're worth like 20. Twisted Metal is worth 21, but
I still don't understand how Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is not $50 because it's the best game.
I like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 on the Dreamcast. That's what I played it on. So $290 PS1, and then PS2 we have 97 games for the PlayStation 2, which is a friggin' ton.
Well, there's a friggin' ton of games for the PS2.
How many are there?
Like a lot.
There's like 2,500 or something like that.
If it wasn't for the PS1 and PS2, I wouldn't like RPGs as much as I do. Because they just dominated.
Well, and you got to think about this. It dominated in the PlayStation world because Xbox. When did original Xbox come out? About the same time as PS2?
Close to. I think that the PS2. I don't even remember it now because I feel like I'm getting old and losing my mind. But yeah, the PS2.
Well, PlayStation was just dominant for RPGs because Nintendo, the N64 era,
they had a different
Quest 64 and Ogre Battle. I think were the only two RPGs.
I mean, there was the Legend of the Seven Stars, Mario RPG.
Oh yeah, Super Nintendo. I'm talking about why the PlayStation dominated.
I was thinking like
RPGs.
Nintendo in general. Like Nintendo in general.
No. Yeah,
like,
N64 it
N64
stopped.
Came,
It stopped for, and I guess mainly because it couldn't load all the information on the cartridge, right?
I think that, and because it went to more of the 3D graphics, and being that they have a new controller that's like, check out this gimmicky 3-handed thing.
Yeah.
A lot of their games I think were really made with the controller in mind and made for, a more broad audience, whereas RPGs I think are a little more narrowed down for specific people.
That makes sense.
But
so 97 games valued at $966, almost $1,000 in PS2 games.
Good.
Most valuable is Half-Life, $38. A lot of people don't know Half-Life came out on the PS2. Most people think PC, right?
PC.
Yeah, so there was a version of Half-Life for PS2.
Another viewer question. What has been your personal favorite episode so far?
Ooh. Man, I really liked the second episode because we found a couple PS3 controllers, and this was like where everything took a turn. You start with the first episode, you have $10.
Yeah, it's rough.
And I'm like, you kind of think like, okay, are we really gonna be able to do this? I think we can. And then we found some really great stuff. But the second episode is where it really took off. And a lot of people get confused by the second episode because I bought F-Zero GX for the GameCube, and I bought it for $30, and I was excited because I was like, ooh, I got this for $30. I'm gonna sell it for $30. People were like, you're an idiot. You're not getting anything. I'm like, no. I didn't pay $30 for it.
Right.
I used trade-in credit. I traded in like 3 PS3 controllers and got like $60 in credit, and that was the game changer to where I got F-Zero GX and a couple other games, and I sold all of them and got like $70 liquid cash in my hand quick. I couldn't have sold those PS3 controllers and got that much for them. So basically what you do is you trade them in, you get credit, and then I trade in, I get those games that sell really quick. And I knew I could sell I think I ended up selling it for like $35, but so many people get confused with that episode. They're like, I don't understand. It's hard. The paper trail, you got to follow the paper trail.
Yeah. Well, when you have $10, there's so many things you can't buy. And yeah, F-Zero would be great for the collection, but not as great for the collection as money in the collection to buy games.
The thing that most people were confused about is why would you buy something for $30? to sell it for $30. It's like, well, I didn't pay $30 for it.
Right. I paid for however much is a controller.
I paid like $4. You know what I mean? So that's probably one of my most memorable. I also like the 3rd or 4th episode where we found that all led up to finding that Nintendo collection. I got a Nintendo collection of like 30 games for $120.
That's good.
And that was where I really felt like, okay, this is gonna happen. Like we're gonna build a game collection. So
that's great.
That's probably one of my favorites. Let's move on to PS3. We have 43 games valued at $344. So there's value there, but you can tell with 43 games, those are a lot of $10 games, $8 to $10 games. The only one that even has a little bit of value is Minecraft is worth $16. So nothing really crazy there, other than 43 games is quite a few. PS4, we only have 5 games. I don't know if I expected to find a lot of PS5 or like Xbox, or not PS5.
PS4.
PS4, big difference. I don't know if I really expected to find too many, even though, PS4 has been out a good bit. But we only have 5 games for the PS4, good lord. $55. Most valuable is Bloodborne for $13. I mean,
Bloodborne's awesome.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Well, I don't have PS4 in the game collection.
If you like Dark Souls and you've not played Bloodborne, you're going to like Bloodborne more. That's just how it is.
All right. Speaking of Dark Souls, that's probably also... So, in one of the episodes, I found $10 inside a Darksiders game case at Goodwill. And I did not plant that. I know I could say this all day, and people were like, you're still lying, you planted it. I don't have time to think about dumb stuff like that. I literally opened it up, and there was $10 in it. And the reason why I really feel like I didn't, like, you can't say I planted it, was because everybody was saying in the comments, hey, there's your money back from there's your initial investment. I never even thought about that.
You're just like, $10?
I was like, oh, sweet, $10, man.
It's like when you find a $5 bill in your laundry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I was like, holy crap, that is so freaking ironic that we just found $10 and that's where we started it. So
that's good.
PSP, 4 games. I think we found those all together at one time. $28. Sims 2. It's worth $12. My wife's favorite game is Sims. When she does play video games, she plays Sims. So, yeah, $20.
All right. Well, another question for you. In this series, are there any game deals that you made that you would not make again? Maybe it wasn't worth your time.
Right.
Well, maybe it wasn't worth dealing with the humans that you had to deal with.
I mean, there was the deal that happened probably 2 months ago where I bought the whole game collection of, like, there was like 7 systems and they were all really junky. I think only 2 Xboxes worked. I doubled my money, but it was a lot of work. Cleaning systems, cleaning games, all of that. But the problem that I also have in the series is I'm filming it, and when I'm filming with my phone, I don't have a lot of time. I don't have the luxury to really dig in. People are like, you should always check your games, bro. And I'm like, in theory, that's great, but I also want to be able to record the footage. Right. So if I'm filming for 8 minutes and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool, it gets weird. It gets a little weird at a certain point. So some of it's a guessing game, and I kind of like opening it up with you guys on
like
camera.
A surprise.
Yeah, it's a surprise for both of us. Yeah. So I don't think I probably would have done that deal again. It was just too much work.
Now, if you weren't doing like, full-time work and this and family, like that, like you said, you doubled your money. So it'd be something that would be, a thing that like a viewer out there who maybe quit their job or whatever,
right,
or just trying to do as a side hustle. It may be good for them, but just not something you do, I guess.
Yeah. It was just too much work. Moving to Sega stuff. Sega Genesis. 7 games valued at $97. Most valuable is Sonic Complete in Box. The original is $20. We got all the Sega Genesis games off of eBay. There was a week where there was nothing available, and it was like April, so everything was like getting shut down. And I was like, all right, we gotta get creative. How can I get creative and still have an episode? I was like, this is how you basically can buy games off eBay cheap. And we got a whole, like, basically lot of games off eBay really cheap, for like $40. And that's how we got our Sega Genesis. So that's the Sega Genesis stuff. Sega Saturn, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Kind of crazy that we found that. 5 games. We have 5 games for the Saturn. $115 in value. Most valuable is Pandemonium for $57. Do you know that game?
Yeah, I played it on the computer.
Okay.
It's like the one where on the cover it's got the clown jester thing. Yep.
57, and that's loose. Well, it has the manual, but doesn't have like the box. So Sega Game Gear, 5 games for the Game Gear, $30 in value. Nothing to write home about. Most valuable is Jurassic Park for $8, and we got those in a trade. No, I bought those from a guy. I bought that Charizard reprint. He said it was original base set. He lied to me. And then I got the 5 Game Gear games, and that was all by asking.
Yep.
I was getting the Charizard, and I was like, I'll just throw it out there. Hey, you have any old games? And I'm thinking, if he does have old games, he's gonna say like, I got some old Wii games. He's like, no, I do. I have 5 Game Gear games.
Specifically had that inventory.
I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I have 5 Game Gear games in the attic. I don't have a Game Gear. I have 5 Game Gear games. I'm like, I'll buy them from you. I think I bought them for like $10 or something like that.
That's cool.
So that was the Game Gear stuff.
So another question, we talked earlier a little bit about, 2020 was a different year for everybody with the pandemic and everything like that. And you were talking about how, the prices went higher and a lot of people were looking for games because they were at home. But that being said,
we keep looking over here because this is where the collection is.
But looking at your collection, do you feel like the pandemic and everything going on this last year affected the size of your collection?
Yeah. Again, we talked a little bit about it before. The place you really find video games, I'm talking like you can just explode a collection, is garage sales. I mean, you go up to a garage sale and you do exactly what I've told you guys before. You ask for video games.
The old video games?
I don't care if you have, I don't care what you have out. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's just dishes. I'm gonna walk up to you. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna be like, hey, you have any old video games? And they're gonna say no, and I'm gonna say, you sure? Like Game Boy, Sega, no, PlayStation? Oh yeah, we have PlayStation games.
Kind of Virtual Boy.
Yeah, that's happened one time. I got a Virtual Boy by doing that. But yes, I think the game collection would have been much larger. I went to 2 garage sales this year. 2. Not because, there weren't any. There were some. I just didn't end up going. But this year, I think garage sales are going to be much, much larger. And we live in Arkansas, so like here in the next month, it's going to be 60, 70 degrees. So
and there'll be a garage sale like literally every block.
Every corner. In our area, they do a lot of like neighborhood garage sales where there'll be a neighborhood of 100 houses and there'll literally be 40 garage sales just because people all do it at the same time. So I do
go
think
buy each other's junk and then resell it at the garage sale the next year.
I love it. All right, guys, we're drawing to an end. Here is the Xbox stuff. 23 original Xbox games, valued at $194. So again, we're looking at about $10 a game. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, $18. Is that one good?
Yeah.
I know people really rave about the Star Wars Xbox games.
2 are good.
The original Xbox Star Wars games. Xbox 360. Our largest collection, 119 games for the Xbox 360, valued at $1,055. Almost all $10 games because it's worth $1,000, and we have
Xbox. That's the Xbox 360 right there.
Yeah,
$10 games.
Minecraft is the most valuable at $26. So, but yeah, I have plenty of Xbox games to play if I ever get some time. And then Xbox One game. We have one game, Resident Evil Revelations 2, worth $12. So, grand total in video games is $6,890, which gives us an overall value with our game fund money, with our accessories money, and the games of $9,269.94.
That's great.
Almost 10,000. I kind of like, as I was adding this up, I was like, dang, it would have been sweet to hit 10,000 from $10 to 10,000. That would have been like a really cool title. I will say though, there are things in the collection, like I have probably $200 in DVDs that are in the collection that I did not count. I got that calculator, is worth like $60. We're really close to 10 grand. I would say it's probably, safely 9,500 and 9,600. But that's 1 year. Like, that's 1 year of doing this. And we talked about this earlier. This is like my side thing, like my side hustle, not all the time going out to Goodwills. This is like on the way to work. It's like on the way home. This is on the way to a meeting. I always try to give myself a buffer of like 15 minutes. If I have a meeting at noon, I'll try to you know, get there, or just give myself 15 minutes to pop into Goodwill real quick, and I can run through Goodwill in 3 minutes.
Yep.
And see, you know, so there was a little bit extra time for sure, but I tried to plan it around what I was already doing. So, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's awesome. And it seems like the MVP is Sonic. He's had maybe the most, as far as like the most expensive games across consoles.
And Sonic did have some. It was really, Zelda is really heavy.
Yeah.
So, guys, it's crazy, man. 1 year in. Again, we're not done. We're gonna go all the way up until October for this series, and then I'm gonna reevaluate. People really seem to love it. You guys tell me down below if you want to see a season 2, and maybe give us some ideas for like how we could differ.
If you want to do that focus thing, like what are some of those things? Like, do you want him to try to do it in
like
N64,
a complete collection or something? I say N64 because that seems feasible. Like Super Nintendo, I mean, there's 700 games, and there's so many expensive games that I've never even seen in my life. So I'm trying to come up with something like, a nice focus would be good, but it has to be, again, it has to be reasonable. But but guys, that is it. That is crazy that it's worth this much. I'm so thankful, first of all, that so many people are watching. I mean, it really took off. I mean, I started the first couple episodes thinking like, I think people are gonna like this, getting like 2,000-3,000 views, where they're averaging like 30 to 40,000 views now. So I really think people are enjoying it, and the most important thing is, you know, it's helping people. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Again, the N64 giveaway, all you got to do is subscribe, like the video, and comment down below your favorite find or your favorite episode from the entire series. As always, thank you guys for hanging out, for watching the video. Until the next video, we'll see you later. Peace.